Yeah, all good.
So I will be here only, and students will start joining.
Absolutely.
On the it's someone.
Start the recording as well. All right. So hello everyone, and welcome to the first day of the workshop. So we are going to cover Excel, Power BI, and Tableau. I will walk you through the outline. But first, let me tell you what I do as a firm, so that you get a better sense of what type of tools I'm working on, what is my role as a data analytics consultant working with various organizations. And that will enable you to ask me better questions, right? So I'm going to walk you through that. After I have given you my background, I'm going to share with you, or rather walk you through all the references I have shared with you in the Dropbox link. This is where any additional files or any additional links that I provide will be put. So everything you're going to find in one single place. And all the files which we will be using over the next 8 days will be in this very folder, right? Okay, so not taking too long on this, but just about 2-3 minutes. So I run a firm called Havisham Consulting. I work as an independent consultant. The tools that I work on are Excel, Power BI, a little bit of Tableau, some bit of R in Python, only about 5 to 10% of my total work. 90% of my work is between Excel and PowerPoint, Excel and Power BI, right? In terms of the sort of clients that I work with, at the moment, I'm doing a lot of work in the energy and power sector. So I work with Adani Transmission, with Adani Power, with Sterlite Power. I've done a few projects with IndiGrid in the past, but nothing at the moment. I'm working with D Shaw quite a lot. So I do trainings for their Hyderabad and their New York office for the financial operations and fintech team. PwC, EY, and Deloitte have been my ex-clients. I don't work with them anymore. But from 2017 till about 2020, for 4 years, I was working with them very extensively. So I've done about 300 odd trainings, full day trainings for PwC and EY primarily, and a few consulting projects for Deloitte. I also work with the Times of India group. So I am heading one of their verticals as an external consultant for the Times Professional Learning Group. I also do some sessions for Economic Times Masterclass, which I'm sure some of you might have seen or attended before. Have done a lot of government projects in the past, and then there are clients from different sectors, right? So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not a specialist in either any particular sector or in any particular function. So I'm not a HR analytics specialist or a marketing analytics specialist. I don't have a subject matter expertise in energy and power or Big Four or auditing or oil and gas. It's nothing like that. My work is regarding the tool, right? So tomorrow, any company that comes to me, right now I'm doing a few projects with Airbnb and with a company called Hudson's Bay Company, which owns real estate such as Saks Fifth Avenue and all. So my point is that I can literally work with any company that works on Excel and Power BI. So it is Let me just mute everyone. So it is not really an expertise in any one function or any one sector, which is a bad thing, right? Because if you say, sir, can you share with us some expertise on the CPG sector? I really can't, because that is not where I invest all of my time. But the good part is that I have worked with such a wide variety of clients that I have a lot of different case studies and best practices to share with you. Okay. Of course, my work has been featured in a bunch of different places. I've worked a lot with Business World magazine, where again, I've done a lot of different things, so political surveys. I've done the B School ranking in 2019, things like that. With the Times Group, again, I do some very specific programs. So this is what I did most recently. This was last month. So we did a financial analysis and modeling workshop. Now, what happens here is that we are basically code trainers. So Pinkesh, who's a partner at Deloitte, he did the training on financial modeling. I did the training on the modeling on Excel. So I was not talking about theory and metrics and what is happening in the industry and stuff like that. That is not an area of my focus, interest, or knowledge. But I was focusing on how to build a better model, how to do automation, how to use VBA, Power Query, what are the changes that are happening in Excel, things like that. So I've done quite a few of these before as well. So again, in corporate finance and valuation, then I've done uh, some specific sessions on Visual Basic, on Excel, right? So I get invited by ET quite frequently, and I like to do these sessions for them, right? Okay. In terms of my qualification, I am interestingly not an engineer. I don't come from an IT background. I'm not even a science student. I'm a commerce student. Did a BBA in marketing. Did an MBA in marketing. But I always loved working on Excel. I've been working on Excel since 2004 when I was in my graduation. So almost 18 years that I've been working on it. And I never basically stopped working on it. Throughout my entire career doing different things, I've always worked on Excel. That is an area which is of my passion and my specialty. I was awarded as a 40 under 40 analytics by Analytics Insight in 2019. That was for my work done in Excel Visual Basic. So it's quite funny and quite silly that as recent as 2014, I knew zero of coding. I did not know what coding is. I was not aware what is a loop, what is a do while. But then that's something I was really passionate about. And of course, a lot of time and effort went into it. But today I'm quite a good coder. So I work on VBA, I work on Power Query, I work on DAX. I'm learning JavaScript and TypeScript. And I'm fairly okay at both Python and R. Right? Only a novice, but my foundation is very clear. Of course, I have done my Microsoft certification. So Havisham Consulting is a Microsoft partner, which is very important because the certificate that you get from my guys at the end will have a lot more weight compared to a lot of other stuff in the market because I'm a Microsoft partner. Not to say that there aren't other Microsoft partners, but I am one that adds a lot of value. And of course, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, Power BI certified, so on and so forth. B School trainings, you guys already know. I'm not going to walk you through it. So, I mean, I've taught in most of the IIMs. IIM Udaipur, I'll be doing a session next month. There are a few small ones I haven't covered. So, Simbalpur, Amritsar, I haven't done. Most of the big ones I've done, except Indore. And all the engagements that I do with colleges is basically available on the website. In case you're curious and you want to have a look at this, you can go ahead and do that. So I judge a lot of competitions. I partner for a lot of events. I go for guest lectures. I do half credit courses. I do workshops like this one, online, offline, a bit of everything. Other than this, on my website, you will find podcasts. These are conversations with senior business leaders. Most of these are friends of mine, where I talk to them about anything and everything related to data, building a corporate career, design thinking, analytics, stuff like that. So there are about 20 podcasts here, and it's quite a lot of information. And the same things are also available on YouTube as a playlist. So in case you guys want to have a look at this, you can see that I invite like really nice people, and there's a lot to learn right from this. Yeah, dashboard samples is Power BI and Tableau. In any case, we'll be working on this during the training. So I'm not going to show this to you right now. What else? Yeah, and I have a YouTube channel. I have over 800 videos, which are everything from 60-second to 16-hour lectures, including everything from Excel to Power BI to Tableau to PowerPoint, right? There are a lot of videos. Everything has been neatly categorized into playlists. Now, is this a repetition of what we are learning in the classroom training? Little bit, not exactly. But the thing is that what you learn in the classroom training is in a classroom environment, right? So the learning is better because there are questions being asked and stuff like that. And plus you go much deeper into certain topics. On YouTube, it's a little scattered and haphazard, but it's a supplement, so I would not say that's a repetition of what we're doing now. It's a supplement and a complement to what you guys are going to learn in the live training. The last thing I want to show you is on Teachable. Now, the thing is, you guys only sent me the email IDs at 8:30, and I was in the middle of a training for TCS, so I wasn't able to enroll all of you. But let me just tell you how this works. I'll be doing this tonight, as in after the session is over. So all of you will get access to my Teachable platform. And basically what this is a collection of all my online courses. Hold on. Okay, what just happened? 1 second. So Teachable is an online platform where all my online courses have been hosted. As you can see, you will get access to every single course. Okay. So for example, when you search for Power BI, you will see that there are 2 courses on Power BI. One is on data analytics and visualization. The other is on Power BI for finance, right? And when I select Power BI, data analytics and visualization, it's like any other online course. You have all these videos, the files are given, right? So this is to some extent a repetition of what we're doing in this classroom format. But the thing is that it's a lot more content, because what we can cover in these 16 hours is not a lot. Because see, we have to do a little bit of everything, right? So plus there'll be questions and you guys have to practice with me, which is great. But in case you want to learn more visuals and go deeper into topics, learn more advanced formulas, you can look at the Teachable account. Otherwise, this costs you 3,500, but you're going to get this for free. I have your emails with me, but I'll need some time to enroll you. Maybe after today's session, I will try. Otherwise, if it doesn't hit you tonight, you will get access to it by first half tomorrow, by let's say 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, right? I'll make sure of that. The courses that you have here are a lot. There are 34 courses. There are 18 courses on Excel, Word, 3 courses on PowerPoint, Tableau, 4 courses on Power BI, R, Python, introductory programming. So there's a lot of content that you will find here. The access will be lifetime, so you don't have to worry about that. And any update that happens to an existing course, you will get free of cost. For example, if you look at the HR analytics course, if tomorrow I add 5 more videos to this, you will get that free of cost. The only thing is that if after a month I add a new course, you will not get that. But any update to the existing course, you are going to get free of cost, right? Yeah, any questions so far, anyone? The training is going to be 100% hands-on. The recording will also be put on Teachable, right? So in fact, I'm going to make sure I do it tonight so that those of you who want to look at it in the morning, you will have access to it, right? So I'll just spend some time after today's session and I'll make sure I do it on Teachable, right? Perfect. Anything, anyone, anything you would like to ask or share with me, do let me know. If you have spoken to your seniors, anything you would like me to do differently, let me know so that I can keep that in mind. Just take a minute, think about it while I get some water. The chat window is open. You can also unmute. Sorry about that. You can also unmute yourself as and when required. So I'm okay both ways, right? So you can use the chat window or you can unmute yourself. Okay, perfect. Do let me know if at all there are any questions or observations. Just put it in the chat window and I will keep an eye on that, right? Perfect. I think let's get started. So on the Dropbox link, which I'll share with all of you one more time, in case you did not receive it before. So copy link and let me put it on the chat window. So what you have on the Dropbox link, everyone, is number one, you have these data sets. So there are about 30, 34 datasets available here, which are of different types, similar to what you would find on Kaggle or some other website. I've just put a lot of datasets in one place because tomorrow, when you guys want to create your own dashboards and create a portfolio or, I don't know, appear for a competition, you will have datasets to practice with. It's not that they aren't available online, but some people have difficulty locating them. That's why I've put in the effort for you and I put it in one place. There's quite a lot of datasets available here, right? That's one. Second, I have a folder called About Me. On this, you will find my GitHub link, where you will find a lot of files that I've given on Excel, Power BI, Tableau. Instagram is my Instagram link. Link of links is a massive link. If I can just open and show it to you. It's a link on Lucid Chart. You will have to create an account to access it. But basically what I've done here is every link that I have, okay, I have put it here. And this is very, very detailed. I mean, if you zoom in, you will see that there are literally like hundreds of links available here, right? And everything has been neatly categorized. So if you notice, we have, this is all Power BI, then this is Tableau, this is Excel, right? So there's a lot of content that I put in this one mind map. And a lot of people love it because I've just given you so much information, not information, but basically so many links in one single place. This is on Lucid Chart called Link of Links. I'm not sure why two of these are there. I am assuming it's the same one. Then my Tableau public profile is there. My website obviously is there, my YouTube channel. Because I have so many videos on YouTube, I've also created a Google Sheet where I have categorized the videos with the name. So if you notice, in case you want to go in an order and you just want to jump to one of these videos, you notice that I've given you the topic, the category, and the link, right? So marketing analytics, HR analytics, Word, PowerPoint, Tableau, Power BI, everything is there. And plus I keep on updating it very frequently. I mean, as in when I record anything. So the link will remain the same and you will always have access to this, right? Okay, now this is the About Me folder. Let's come back. Then we have Excel, we have Excel charts, we have Power BI, we have Tableau. Now see, we are not going to be able to cover everything, let's be honest. The thing is, I will be very selective in terms of the problems that we are working on. If you say, is this enough for me to know everything in Power BI? Of course not. I've been working on Power BI for over 5 years now. I've been working on Excel for 18 years, right? And I still keep on learning. In fact, if you all see, I'm doing a course on advanced Power BI right now. It's a $300 course, which I purchased last month. And I'm sort of, I mean, 1 month, I've only done 62 out of 157 lectures. So my point is there is a very long learning curve. You can't learn everything in 1 day or 8 days, but it's a very good start. This is the exact same content that I'm teaching at all these organizations. So what you're learning is literally what a D. Shaw and a Adani is learning as well, right? Let's look at the training outline as well. So what we're doing is we will work on Excel today and basically for the first 4 hours. We'll work on Power BI after that and then go over to Tableau. See, a little bit of flexibility we will keep. If I want to extend Excel a little bit or extend Power BI a little bit, I'll do that. I'm not very rigid on the time. The more important thing is that we have to be flexible and nimble, right? So rather than saying, Acha, 4 hours is over, let's now move on to the next topic. It's not a college curriculum, right? So if you guys feel that, sir, can you spend a little more time on Tableau? I don't mind spending an extra 30 minutes with you, right? Please feel free to ask me. Okay. This I've already told you, the teachable bundle. Okay. Now, I already mentioned to you that Excel, there is a problem, which is that if you want all the latest features, then you will need to have Microsoft 365. There's no other option. Let me tell you one more time. If you want to work on Excel with every single latest feature, 13, 16, 19, even 2021 will not have all the features. The only way for you to get all the features is to download Microsoft 365, which is a subscription. It will cost you $4,899 per year. In case 6 of you want to come together, you can also purchase it for $6,199 for 6 people, right? There's no other crack or pirated version available because it's a subscription model. You have to pay either $489 per month or $4,899 for 1 year. That's the one I have as well. You can use the free version, which is what we are going to do today. In case you guys don't have Microsoft 365, then we can use office.com with a free account. But features are limited. I've very clearly mentioned here that when you work online, on the desktop version, you have everything, obviously, but when you work online, all the functions will be there, almost all the functions will be there, but these features are missing. You don't have Power Query, you don't have Power Pivot, you don't have Visual Basic, and a lot of other small options related to formatting and colors and stuff like that will not be the same in desktop and online. But for us, for today and tomorrow, it doesn't matter, because in any case, we're not working on this part, right? We're only working on functions. So you guys can work on office.com, right? I'm also going to do it. So let me know if you have any problem. As you can see, I'm opening office.com. Everybody, I will sign in with one of my free accounts, habishrao@gmail.com. And it says I can't do that. Okay, hold on. Let's do it once again. Sign in. habishrao@gmail.com. It has sent me a code. Okay, hold on. Five 6007165 5600716. Right. So one more time, what I've done is I went to office.com, I signed in. And if you notice, this is my interface. On the left, I can access all my MS Office applications, some other Office applications as well. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Let me know if anybody has any trouble reaching this point. Please do not use your college account, because your college account might be tied with a non-Microsoft 365. So while you will come to this interface, the features might be different. Please use one of your personal Gmail accounts. If you don't have an account, just create one, whatever it asks you. But make sure you're using a personal Gmail account in case you guys don't have Microsoft 365, right? Just, share your screen or let me know if you have any problem coming to this point, to this screen. If all of you have successfully reached this point, what I would like you to do is go to Excel case studies. Please make sure to download from Dropbox first, okay? Directly from Dropbox, you can't open the file in office.com. So please make sure that once you're on Dropbox, which is here, once you're on Dropbox, please make sure to download all these folders. I mean, we don't need to download everything right now, just the Excel case studies. This is the one we are working on for today. Right? And once you have done that, we are working on the problems folder, and we'll obviously not do every single example, but we will do quite a few of them, right? Right, so let's come to this one, please. CLB top end customers. Now, how will you open this file in office.com? Let me show you how we do it. There are two different ways of doing it. Either you click on upload, right? And then you upload the file, or you can just select the file like this, drag it. Okay, I'm dragging it and just put it in this window. Same thing, right? And the moment you do that, you will notice that the file has been uploaded to OneDrive, obviously. So the file from your computer will get uploaded to OneDrive, and it will now open in Excel like this. Let's give it a minute. It will open like this, right? So yeah, I hope all of you have reached this point. If not, please let me know and I'll help you. Okay, there's something on the chat window. Let me check. Yeah, Manas, if you can just tell me what the problem is, because I will only be able to help you in that case. And guys, you can unmute yourself. Like I said, yeah, I have allowed you to unmute yourself. So that will be easier. Can I show the files once again? Sure. So we're working on Dropbox. I'm working on this folder, Excel case studies. And that folder should look like this with two subfolders. One is problems, the other is solutions. And at the moment, I'm working on this file, CLV top N customers. This one. Right? And I simply either drag it or you can upload it on office.com. Right? In this window. All good? All right. Okay. So this is a classic product management marketing problem, which is CLV. CLV would be the customer lifetime value, right? So just to give you some context to what we are doing. See, I'm not just going to teach you how to build the formula. Of course, 90% of what I'm doing is to help you build the formula. It is all related to real business problems, right? We're not just learning Excel arbitrarily that, okay, there is a function called unique or Vlookup. Why is it that we're using it and how do companies use it? That is very important. So CLV is a metric, very simple. It basically tells you the total lifetime value of a customer. So if a customer has purchased 17 times from me, I will add up all those transactions and that becomes the CLV. If I'm a Swiggy user and I purchased from Swiggy 50 times in the last 12 months, that is my customer lifetime value. So CLV is related to a lot of other metrics like CAC, which is the customer acquisition cost, right? Then you will have cash burn. Then from a product management perspective, there are a lot of other metrics you can look at, the CPM, the CTS, stuff like that. Again, I'm not making this into a marketing study, but CLV should be very clear. We're looking at the customer lifetime value, right? But it is related to a lot of other marketing metrics as well. Okay. Now, if you look at this data, it's a very simple data. I have the order date, I have the customer name, I have the market, I have the sales, I have the profit. If I go to data and apply a filter, you can see that order date is for 4 years, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then I have the customer name. There are quite a few customers I have. Then I have 5 markets, Africa, APAC, Europe, LATAM, United States, Canada. We have the sales value, and finally we have the profit value, right? Now, the first thing I would like to do is to find out how many unique customers we have. How do we do that? How do we get a list of unique customers? Anyone? Because only when I know the list of unique customers, I will be able to find the sum of sales for each customer. So how do I know the list of unique customers? Anyone? Any ideas? Absolutely. So Anupam, correct answer. I would request if all of you put your comments on the chat. The reason is that it will help the others as well, right? Shivank, we can make a pivot, but the thing is a pivot means it's a manual step, right? I'll have to select the data, make a different sheet. Then the pivot is not dynamic in the sense that I can't make modifications to it. So while a pivot, yes, is correct, I'm searching for something more flexible. Pivot is an easier approach, but it's not very flexible, right? So what I'm doing, everyone, let me just go full screen and let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. I'm basically writing unique, very simple. And by the way, you notice that this new interface is very similar to Google Sheets. Earlier, this was not how Excel worked. They basically just copied it from Google Sheets, but I'm happy. I think this is a good thing they have done. The fact that now they're explaining the function better as well. Unfortunately, we don't have it on the desktop version yet. I don't know. We might get it in the future, but I don't know. So we say unique, and now I have to select from the first value, which is B7, till the last cell. So I'm going to press Control, Shift, and the down arrow from B7, Control Shift down arrow. And now to go back up, I will press Control backspace. Right? So it will select B7 to B105. And that will give me a list of unique customers. I'm also writing down the shortcut here. So select B7. Then we did Control plus Shift plus down arrow, and then we did Control plus backspace, right? And that is the result that we get, equal to unique. I'm also taking a screenshot so that all of you can see the formula clearly, like this. By the way, all these files that I'm creating, the solutions have already been given to you, right? In the solutions folder. So don't worry if you miss out one or two steps here and there, because you will be able to go back. You have the recording with you, plus you have the solutions with you, right? Any questions so far, anyone on this? And you can see that we have 72 unique customers with us. Right? So total there are 99 transactions and we have 72 unique customers. All good? Okay. The next thing I want to do is to find the total sales for each customer. For example, if I search for Aaron Bergman, you notice that Aaron has made 6 transactions and the sum of these 6 transactions is what we want, 886. Let's see how we do that. So just hold on. Somebody has given me a missed call. I'm not sure if that's somebody from your team or because it's 12 o'clock in the night. I don't know who that is. Never mind. So equal to, I will say sum if. So what we are doing is we want to find the sum of what? Of the sales column, but not every single record. I don't want to select the entire column D and find the sum, because when you do sum of column D, it doesn't make any sense, right? I only want to find the sum for one particular person, which is Aaron Bergman. So you notice I'm writing sum if, which is a conditional sum. What is my range and criteria? My range is BB. My criteria is Aaron Bergman and my sum range is column D. So it tells me that Aaron Bergman has 6 transactions, which we just saw, and the total is 886. But here's the thing. Because this is a dynamic array, do you see this blue border coming around these cells, everyone? Why is it a dynamic array? So this dynamic array, which is a blue border, which basically means one formula is giving multiple results, okay? You can select with a hash. Let me show you how that works. So I want to select not just G11, but every single value in that dynamic array. So I'm going to make it G11 hash. And do you see how that red selection has changed? I don't have to go and tell Excel which is the last cell. It automatically knows that my last name is here, right? In 82. And that's it. Now I don't have to put a $sign, copy paste, all of that in one single sum if. I'm able to get all the results. How cool is that? Now, don't worry if none of you have done this before, because dynamic arrays are very new in Excel. They were only introduced, like in 2019? Right? So it's very new. Most organizations aren't even aware that something like this exists, right? But it's an amazing feature, and I hope you see how it works. Manas, you'll have to be very specific. What part would you like me to repeat? So just tell me, is the unique or the sum if or the hash, right? Because guys, when you say you repeat, I'm not sure if you want me to repeat the entire thing or one part of it. The sum if, sure. So what we're doing in the sum if is, see, there are 3 parts. Let me just turn on my annotation tool. One moment. Just a second. Okay. So what we are saying here is that in column B, right, which is in column B, I'm searching for every occurrence of Aaron Bergman, right? So if you notice how many times is Aaron Bergman coming in this column, it is coming in this row, then it is 1, 2, 3. You get my point, right? This is These are the number of times add-in is coming. So hence I only want to add up the value from column D, but only these ones. That is what the SUMIF states. The SUMIF basically states that add up only those values from column D where the value in column B is equal to Aaron Bergman. Then in the next cell, it will say only add the values from column D where the name is equal to Justin Ritter, like that. Just a moment. Right. Any other question? I hope that's clear. Yeah, the hashtag Siddharth is a way of selecting all the values in a dynamic. Please allow me to show it to you in a simple example, everybody. You know, sometimes it's easier to look at it from a simple problem. I say 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then I have 5, 10, and 50. So let's say this is my price and this is my quantity. If I say this by this, what does it do? It multiplies 1 by 5 and then I copy it down. Everybody agrees? But what if I say 3 values multiplied by 3 values? You see what I'm doing, right? I'm basically telling Excel that I want you to multiply these 3 cells with these 3 cells, which means 1 is multiplied by 5, 2 is multiplied by 10, and 3 is multiplied by 50. But now there are 3 results. We have a 5 and a 20 and a 45. Obviously, 3 results can't come in one cell, so they will come in 3 cells. But these 3 cells are connected to each other, right? Because the formula is only one formula. That is the reason why I can just say V7 hash to select all the 3. Does this make a little more sense now? Dynamic array means that you're writing one formula that gives you multiple results in different cells, but they're all connected to each other with one formula. So how do you select all of them in one go? By using the hash sign, which is like this. Let me show you the formula here as well. Look at it, no hurry, and tell me if it makes sense. It's something very new and very peculiar, because if any of you have worked on Excel before, this is not how Excel used to work. Excel never allowed you to multiply 3 cells with 3 cells, but now it does. It does that. And I mean, of course, it's so much better than before, so much more dynamic, especially when you're writing more complex formulas. Right, everyone? Okay. So one more time, Unique gave me a list of unique customers, but as a dynamic array, you see that blue border. Then I did a sum if. I said I want to find the sum of sales for each one of these customers, which is Aaron Bergman 886, Justin Ritter 3709, like this. Now I want to sort the data. Obviously, I want to sort my name as per the sales value, which means the customer with the highest sales should be at the top, then the lowest, then the lower one, and the lower one, like that. So I'm going to use a function called sort by. So what do we want to sort and what do we want to sort it by? I want to sort G11 hash, which is my name. I want to sort it by H11 hash, which is my value. And what is the order? Either -1 or +1. -1 is descending, +1 is ascending. So I will say -1. This is descending. And now you notice it tells me Patrick is number 1. Let's verify that. So if I scroll down and you look at Patrick, okay, let me just do a, do you see this? 7958, right? So we are basically sorting the data in a descending order, like this. Not alphabetically, but by the sales value. For example, imagine I ask you, that the 114 people in this training right now, can all of you get in an order as per your work experience, for example? So the one with the highest work experience is the number one, then the one below that, and so on and so forth. That is what we are doing right now. Okay, Saurabh. So even if the size of the dynamic array changes, does using hash automatically set the change array? Absolutely. And that's the best part about dynamic arrays, right? That you don't have to tell it that there are 5 items in the array or there are 10 items in the array. It will resize it automatically. So the hash basically tells Excel, go till the last value. For example, do you see this? Right now, in my unique, how many values do I have? It gives me till Paul. Imagine that there was one more name. I had a Havish here as well. So now what will happen is, okay, one moment. I need to add a different name. So just allow me to add a Havish here. Do you see this? It changed automatically. And do you see my formulas are also changing automatically? That's the beauty of dynamic arrays, which I just showed to you. See, that's the beauty of these examples, that I'm not teaching you one function per example. I'm teaching you one solution per example. So in the process of solving CLV, look at the number of things we've already learned. We have learned unique, we've learned SUMIF, we have learned sort by, we've learned dynamic arrays. And there's one thing still left, which is the top N customers. So what if I just want to know who are the top 10? I don't want to know all of these, right? I just want to know the top 10. Let's see how we do this. Okay, let me not minimize this. Let me just zoom out a little bit, tiny bit. Now I'll say equal to large, okay? So from J11 hash, I want the top 10 numbers. So I will just say sequence. And I will select 10. Very simple. Okay, that did not work. Just hold on. No, let me do it in a different way. So I'll just say index, but large should work. Why is it not working? One moment. So if I say 1, it still doesn't work. That's very odd. Okay, my bad. Obviously large won't work. These are just names, my bad. So I'll just say index and I want to get the top 10 values. So we'll just say I want sequence and I want the top 10 values. Here we go. Right. Let me show you the formula once. So index is something like a row ID, everybody. For example, if I say, can the top 5 people, like the first 5 students sitting in the room, stand up? What am I doing? I'm just looking at the first, second, third, fourth, fifth person, right? That is what we are saying. So when I say the top 10, I mean the top 10. When I say the top 5, I mean the top 5, like this. And just to show you, we can combine this entire formula into one. Now, I know it's going to be a little complex, but let's take it up as a challenge because this is what recruiters are looking for, right? I'm not removing any of this. I'm just combining everything into one single formula, right? Let's see how we can do it. So first, I will say, what is my list of names? So what is my unique customer? My unique customer, we know, is equal to unique of B7, B105. Next, we want to know what is the CLV for each customer. So the CLV we know is equal to the SUMIF of don't worry, I'm not going to do this in a hurry. I'll give you a lot of time to try this out yourself, but I just want to complete this. And then we're doing sorted names, which is sort. Okay, that gave me an error. Let me just see why that problem is there. Hold on. So we have, one moment. I don't know, everything seems okay. Let me just try once. Unique customer, one moment. No, it's still giving me an error. So there's some problem and I'm not quite sure what that is. I might have not closed a parentheses or something. Unfortunately, on the online version, this interface is not the best. But yeah, as you can see, I'm able to get the result. And if you all allow me, I'll just make this a little larger so that all of you can see this. Hold on. Now, see, let's be honest. The goal of writing a formula is not to make it complicated, right? The goal is to make it easier for people to understand. The only reason I've done it this way is to tell you that at some point you have to realize that you have to become more efficient. Obviously, you're not going to do this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, right? It is so much better to be able to do this in a single step. It's exactly the same formula. It's just that I've done it inside a single let, right? So I'm giving a name called unique customer, which is unique. What is a CLV? Summit. What is a sorted name? Sort by. What is a top n? The top value. And the final result is top n, like this. So yeah, here you go. Take your time. In case you want to try this out, practice, you can do it. But look at the number of things we have learned in our first example. Unique, dynamic arrays, unique, SUMIF, sort by, index, sequence, and let. This file also I'll share with you because I'm written down a lot of notes in it. So in case you guys want to go back and have a look at it again, I will make sure I put this file on the Teachable account. Right? I'll also put it on the chat window in case you're making some small error and you want to check. Can I please explain the components in the let formula? Because I don't seem to have used any hash marks. Right, but the thing is that, see, let me talk about the summit. What am I sorting? I'm sorry, what am I summing? I'm summing column D whenever column B is equal to G11 hash. What is G11 hash? It is nothing but the unique. But I've already given this unique a name, right? Like a nickname. I have given the name to B7B105, so I don't have to put in a hash because I've already given it a name, which is even better. So now I can simply say Selvi is BB. I don't need to write B7 hash. I can, if I wanted to, I can. But here's the best part, that I can just refer to that name given in the previous step, like this. Sorted names is doing what? It is sorting customers as per the Selvi value. I don't expect you to get it 100% the first time. This is complex. It will take you some time and you will have to sit back and practice this. Not in a hurry. You have to take time, relax, practice it, discuss it in a group. Don't work alone. Work with your peers, right? But as long as you've understood it broadly, I'm happy. Even if you're not understood 100%, that's okay. I would be surprised if you understand it 100% the first time because this is expected to be a little difficult. Actually, confused two questions. Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. See, the let is very simple. The let only has, this is my name. This is the thing that I'm giving a name to. For example, unique B7B105 is called unique customers. This part, which is SUMIF, what is the name I'm giving it? I'm calling it CL. After sorting the data, I'm calling it sorted name. And this index I'm calling as top. Does it make sense? It's like I say, I say the first 5 students are called A. The second 5 students are called B. And then I want to do count of A plus B, right, to get 10. So what am I doing? I'm taking the first 5, giving it a nickname. Second 5, I'm giving it a nickname. That is what we are doing right now. So if you look at the function here, it's very simple. It says, what is the name? What is the name value? What is the name? What is the name value? So you keep on repeating this pair till you reach the final step in which you only want to give the result. So after doing all the 4 steps, we are giving the result, which is top n, right? Yeah, hash part I've already explained that we are not using hash here because we are giving a name to that. So this entire list, we are giving a name to it. Right? But the advantage of doing this is that I don't need to do all of this. You see my point, right? See how clear and how clean this formula is. I know it's one quite long and complex formula, but look at the value it adds. You don't have to go through all these processes. Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is just leave it aside for now. This is not very important. I've just shown it to you to let you know that this is how I would have done it, but this is more important right now to understand step by step how these things are working. Great. Any other question, anyone? The sequence function just creates a sequence of numbers, right? So when I say equal to sequence 5, I'll just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like this. And because you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is how it knows that, see, it knows that from this entire list, I only want to get the first 5 values. That is what it means. Okay. So one more time, it says that from the sorted names, which is a very large list, how many values do I want? Only the top 5, which is the top 5. By the way, all of these functions are new. Not all, except SUMIF and index, unique sort by sequence. They have been introduced just like a few years back. Even now, if you ask a lot of people in the corporate who you know, most of them will either not have heard of it or they might have heard of it, but they are not working on it. Right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing it, especially because by the time you guys go back to the corporate or join the corporate, it's going to be some more time. So it makes all the more sense for you to be prepared for what's going to happen in the future. Shall we move on to the next one, everybody? Okay, let's do one thing. The next example, I'll take a slightly simpler one, right? Let's not take such a complex one. See, I'm not trying to take complex example just for the sake of it. Let me be very honest with you. I'm only doing it because this is important. You know, this is really what you guys need to learn. I know for some of you, this might already seem quite difficult, but I hope you don't want the workshop with me just to be about basic Excel formulas and all. I mean, you can learn that from anywhere. You don't really need me to do that. Plus, on Teachable, I have everything. All the basics of Excel, everything is available on Teachable. Since this is only a 4-hour session, I also have to be a little selective in terms of the topics that I'm covering, right? Okay, perfect. So let me just save a copy. So save as and download a copy. Excellent. So I go back to office.com and we will work on our second problem, which is something quite interesting. We are looking at, where is it? My incentive plan, okay? You can open this file either online or you can open it on your local Excel as well, because for this one, we don't need any fancy new functions. We are not using dynamic arrays. So like I said, you can use local Excel. I'm also going to do this. I'm just going to do it on my local Excel file. As you can see, no need to do this online. We can do it here itself. Okay. Can everybody go through this data and the problem and tell me what are we trying to do? Absolutely. So, right. So what we're doing here is we want to understand that for all these customers that we have, how many of them will get an incentive, right? So there are only two possible outcomes. Either they get an incentive or they don't get an incentive. Here, I'm not really concerned about what level of incentive that they are getting, right? In the sense that there are no slabs that I've created. Either they get an incentive or they don't get an incentive, right? Okay. So Shivang, we are not trying to find the names of people getting the incentive. We are trying to add a remark to everyone saying yes or no, something like that. Okay. So tell me how many conditions have to be met for somebody to get an incentive. Okay. Will Aaron get an incentive? Yes or no? Just tell me that. As per the conditions given, see, this is very important for HR analytics, for vendor management, in finance. There are conditions that have to be met, and only when the conditions are met, you give a true. Otherwise, you give a false. So will Aaron get an incentive or not get an incentive? Anirudh, he will, right? Let's go through it one by one. See, is the achievement more than the target? Yes. Between product A and product B, what is my condition? At least one of them should be met. Is that being met? Yes. Has the person been with the company for more than 2 years? Yes. So the person does get an incentive, and we want to know what incentive they will be getting. Everyone agrees? Okay, what about Toby? Yes or no? Everyone? No, right? So Saurav, look carefully. Toby does not get an incentive because we are very strict, and we are saying that the achievement has to be more than 100%. So we are not content with a 100% exactly. We want more than that, right? Okay. So let's see how we do it. First, let me tell you about this function called year_frac. For example, if you know somebody's date of birth, so I'm a 22nd November 1986, and if you want to find the age, this is called year_frac. Very simple. Like this. Something new that I'm introducing to you, equal to year_frac, which basically says that the difference between a starting date and an end date. The starting date in this case being the day I was born, and the end date being today. So I'm 35.67 years old right now, as of this moment. You want me to zoom in? Okay, hold on. Let me shuffle some things around. You can actually also go full screen. I think this should be better. Yeah. Right, everyone? Okay. Now let's look at the final result. So I will say if. Now, if is something very standard, whether you're working on Power BI, on Python, on Tableau, on Excel, on any other programming language, if statement is the bread and butter, right? Because there are so many cases where you have to use an if. You want to check for the validity. It might be something in programming like, does this file exist on my computer or not? Does this email ID exist or not? For example, when you enter an email ID and password on Gmail, it checks, right, whether the password is correct or not. So if the password is not correct or it doesn't match the email ID, you get an error saying, please check. So conditional statements are there everywhere. So it's not something unusual to Excel. Literally every single platform out there will have conditional statements in it. Now, the way Excel works is there is only one logical test. If you look at the first part, there is only one test. But that doesn't make sense, right? Because we have three conditions. The first one is the product goal. The second one is the achievement. The third one is the number of years spent at the company. So I'll put in an and. Why? Because there are more than one condition. Because there is more than one condition, we have to put in and. In this, you can add hundreds of conditions. Actually, it's not hundreds, it is 255, but you get the point. So my first condition is that achievement has to be more than the target. I'll put a comma. Now, I know that my formula is going to be quite long. And rather than trying to write the formula in a single line, what I'm going to do is I will break it into a different line by pressing Alt Enter, right? Alt Enter breaks your formula into two lines. The second condition is that either product A should be equal to yes, or E13, which is product B, should be equal to yes. The third condition is the year frat, which means that the date of joining compared with today should be greater than 2. Now, if all these conditions are met, I want to give the person 10% of what number of their achievement. But the problem is there is a capping of $20. Nobody can get more than $20. It's like on Swiggy when it says that you get 20% on your bill up to 150. That is what we're trying to do. Otherwise, the person gets no incentive, right? Like this. So you notice that it is working, but the problem is Catherine happens to get $25, which is not permissible. Despite the fact that Catherine has done a stupendous job, the company cannot give a person more than $20. Hence, I'll have to be a little smart and I will say here that there is a capping, which means it has to be the maximum of either the incentive or 20. Basically, whichever one is actually the minimum. So whichever one is the minimum is what the person will get. So now if you notice, one moment, the person only gets 20. So anybody getting more than 20 there'll be a ceiling. The person cannot get more than 20. So let me show you the formula, everyone. And here we go. It's a very elegant formula and something that as an analyst or basically anybody in the corporate, you have to build these formulas literally every single day. Okay, let's check the question. What is the achievement? Has to be 125%. Then you just change it. See, that is just logical. So you will say that I want to say that C13 is greater than 1.25 multiplied by B13. Simple. Right? Just basic math. So in this case, you notice that only 3 people get an incentive, right? Craig does not get an incentive. Could I please repeat the and or using form? Absolutely. So an example I would like to give you is that when you apply for, let's say, an education loan or any other loan for that matter, they ask you for a few documents. Now they say that your PAN card is mandatory. There's no choice. But when it comes to your address proof, there is a choice. So you can give any document. You can give your electricity bill or Aadhaar card or passport or driving license or something else. That is what we are saying. I'm saying that you have to give me the PAN card and the address proof. So that's an and. But within the address proof, there is a choice. So you can give me either the DL or the electricity bill or the passport or something else. That is an or. So right now we are saying that there is a choice, at least one of it has to be equal to yes, either A or B or both, but at least one of it has to be equal to yes. But the and states that all the three have to be met. My first line, second line, third line, all the three have to come as true, true, and true. Hope that makes sense. Why did we use the or in the second line? Satyashir, because I had a choice, right? That either my product A has to be met or my product B has to be met. I'll give you my example. So I started my career with Reckitt. That was a campus placement. And we have brands like Harpic, Dettol, Mortein, Airwick, so on. So we were always given a monthly target that I have to meet my monthly target. So if I've been given 50 lakhs, I have to do 50 lakhs. No questions asked. The second incentive component is that I have two separate targets, one for Harpic, one for Dettol. So let's say in Harpic, I have to sell at least 2,500 units, and Dettol, I have to sell 500 units, something like that. So the organization states that, Havish, you have to meet at least one of those targets. Either you meet the target for Harpic or the one for Dettol, or both, but at least one of it has to be met. If you meet neither of them, then you're not going to get an incentive. Right? So remember, whether you are doing this logic in Power BI, in Python, in R, in Tableau, the basic idea will remain the same. The logic in your head still has to be clear. The syntax might change, the characters might change, but the logic will still have to be the same. If you know how to build a complicated if statement in one language, you will definitely be able to do it in a different language as well. Right? So let's look at the things that we have learned. We have done the function if, and, or, year, frac, today, and min. Right? 6 different functions. Okay. If the conditions were like meet anyone, then instead of and at first, we'll put an or. Absolutely. So for example, if I put a or here, everybody, what this means is that either line number 1 or line number 2 or line number 3 is met. And I hope you see how the colors help you. Okay, how do I show it to you? Just a minute. Just hold on. I will just turn on my arrow. Okay, do you see that there is a red color here? In fact, let me show you in the image that I've taken. 1 second. Do you see there's a red arrow here? Where is this ending? It is ending here. What about the or? The or starts here, but it ends here. The year frac starts here and it ends here. You know, the if starts here and it ends here. So this is how you get to understand where the function is starting and where the function is ending, right? I'm sorry, just a minute. Great. I'll just wait for 1 more minute. Then we move on to a different example. You know, like in HR, a very classic requirement would be to say that what is the rating of the employee? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? It's a very classic method we follow for talent tracker and talent assessment. How do you do that? Obviously, if I want to define a person or rate a person as a 1 or a 9, we are going to look at different metrics, right? We're going to look at things like achievement, leadership quality, this and that. So that is like an and that we're doing. We're saying all these conditions have to be met for the person to get an incentive or not get an incentive. Or in and HR case, get a promotion, not get a promotion. All good, everyone? Shall we? Okay. What do you want me to take? Do you want me to take a slightly more advanced problem, same level, or a little below? Because I have a lot of them. So, okay, let's wait for a few others. Okay, same level, advanced. Great. I think I'll take that as a sample set. So I'll try to take the same level or maybe just one notch higher. Okay, but nothing like super complicated, right? Okay, great. Thank you. Let me pick a good one. Hold on. I think this one is good. Let me have a look. Yeah, I think you'll like this. Can you open this, please? Uber driver warnings, everyone. It's a very, very good example. Actually, I have actually done this for Uber. I did a training with Uber way back in 2016 or 2017. So there were a series of trainings that happened. Even though they were not working on Excel, they were working on Google Sheets, but you get the point, right? Again, here also, you don't have to work on Excel online. You can use Excel desktop, either one. You can use online or desktop. I leave that up to you. Okay, can you tell me what we are trying to do? Eh, Yeah, so we want to flag repeat offenders. And what we're trying to say here is that if you are receiving, if a driver is receiving the complaint the first time, what happens? They don't get any warning. It is not flagged, right? So if Clear is getting a complaint called billing issue, no problem at all. Clear gets an issue, a complaint called bad behavior, no problem. But the moment Clear gets the same behavior one more time, it's a flag. I want to give a warning. And if the person still continues to get the same issue one more time, right? More than 2 times, the person goes on probation, right? It is a different matter that Uber doesn't care. They don't give a shit. Uber is very clear that all the data comes to us, we analyze it and we do nothing with it, right? That's the reality. Anyway, that's on a different note. But the point is, I hope you see what we are trying to do. Let's see. Please allow me to explain it to you first. I will write the formula, then I'll give you time to practice. But first pay attention to understanding how am I doing it and what is the approach. Then you guys can practice on your own. Don't just blindly copy because then you will not listen to me carefully, okay? So for the next few minutes, don't please copy, just listen. Now, the first thing I'm doing is I will say equal to count if, okay? And I will say that in this range BB, I'm counting only Claire. Let's start with this. What will be the result? It will be 6, because Claire is coming 6 times, correct? Now, what if I said that I want to count not just B11, but B11 to B25? Now I'll get this. First, tell me, is this okay, everyone? Are you able to follow what we are doing? Makes sense? If I say in column B, how many times is Claire coming? That's 6. If I do it with B11, B25 using dynamic array, it tells me the number of times every driver is appearing. But that is not what we want. You know why? Because I want to get a 1 here, a 2 here. You see my point, right? And I want to get a 3 here and a 4 here and a 5 here, right? And a 6 here. I don't want to get 6 in every occurrence. I want to get a sequence. So very smartly, what I'll do is, please watch, I will say that I want to count if. I want to count if, watch very carefully. I want to count if in B11, okay, to B11. I want to count B11. That means in the cell B11, I want to count B11. What will be the result? Obviously, it will be 1. Because in B11, B11 is coming one time. But the moment I copy it down, it becomes 2. How? Because in B11, B12, now do you see the role of that $sign? The first part is fixed, but the second part is free. So in the two cells, first and the second cell, how many times is clear coming? 2 times. But in the third one, it again becomes 1. Why? Because in B11 to B13, Andrew is only coming 1 time. So this way, I'm sort of getting what we want, right? But the problem is that I haven't considered the complaint type here. So the only thing I have to do is I'll say count if s, the criteria range 1, which is B11, okay, colon B11. I'm counting B11. Okay, then I'm saying, okay, C11, C11, and then I'm saying C11. This is exactly what we wanted. Do you see this? Clear billing issue is 1 time. Clear bad behavior is 1 time, but clear bad behavior is 2 times, and clear bad behavior is 3 times. Okay. So first, I would like all of you to try out this part of the formula. Then we will build on it. We have the number of the offense, but now we want to do something with it. We want to get a result. So we'll have to use an if statement, right? But first, let's do this part of the formula. Then we will do the second part of the formula. All done, everybody? Now let's be a little smart. And what I'll say is that okay, let me save this result as the occurrence. Please tell me if this makes sense. Oh, by the way, I'm really sorry, but I think on the desktop version of Excel, you might not have this let function. My mistake, but I can't help it because you need to have Microsoft 365 for this. In case you're not able to do this on the desktop version, I would suggest that you please do it on the online version, right? Because this is something we'll have to learn, right? So basically what I'm doing is exactly the same thing. I'm just giving it a name called occurrence. And now we are getting this result. Now with this occurrence, we can do something. I can say, watch carefully, I can say that if my occurrence, okay, watch carefully, if my occurrence is equal to 1, then we want to give a result, right? But we'll be a little smart. We will say if s, right? So I'll say if s, my occurrence is equal to 1, then what is the result? My result should be equal to blank. Nothing happens. Let me just copy it one more time. Then I say if my occurrence is equal to 2, then the person gets a warning. And if my occurrence is greater than 2, then the person goes on probation like this. There we go. There's your result, everyone. So especially in supply chain, we have something called, even in finance for that matter, or in HR, we have something called SLAs, which is service level agreement. So think of any contract or any project that you have. You will have different sort of milestones in it, right? So you say that if I've reached 20% or 60% or 80%, what happens in each one of those cases? This is sort of like that in the line number 1, I'm first calculating the occurrence number. Once I get that number, then there are different results associated with different numbers. Sure, we can color the cells as well. I'll in fact show you how to do that. So let me just keep it here. If you want to keep a different color, what I can do is, just a moment. So I'll just go to content. First, I'll remove all the colors, okay? So let me remove all the colors. Let me make it white. Okay. So I'll go to conditional formatting and we will put two formats. Number one, we'll say that there is a highlight cells text that contains. So if the text is warning, we get maybe a gray color. If it is probation, we get a red color. So anywhere where it says warning will be a gray color. So let me just choose a gray color here. One more time, I say highlight cells text that contains probation will get a red color like this. So you notice that if tomorrow this error comes one more time, watch carefully. If Pete Chris has the same issue one more time, do you see what's happening? The person goes on probation. But if it was a different issue, then there's no problem. But only if it is the billing issue, it goes on probation like this. We can also create another column and put the ifs. Yeah, I get that. But Soumya, the thing is that we are not really looking at the occurrence number because there are only three possible results. No action, warning, and probation. I'm not too worried about the occurrence number, right? In case you say, no, I also want to see the occurrence number, you just modify the formula. If I can show you, warning, we know what it means. In the probation, you can just say and you can just put in a bracket. You can say another and. I can put the occurrence number here and I'll put another and I'll put a bracket here as well. So basically what we're doing is now it will also tell you what is that probation number that they're getting. So is the person getting the same issue? I mean, basically is the person having the same complaint even after getting the probation. So I'll just make it occurrence -2. You see what I'm doing, right? Let me just show you the formula. See, I can keep on building on this formula as much as I want, but I hope you get the broad idea in terms of what I'm doing. I'm saying that if the person is a blank, that means the error has only happened one time, no problem. If it's a gray color warning, it means the error has happened exactly one time, which we know. If the person is on probation, it is possible that the person continues to have that probation issued, but the person is still driving. So I would like to know the person on probation and the number of times the probation has been given. Like in this case, the same error is still coming, despite the fact that the person is on probation. So I want to put in that sequence number. So what I've done here is I've just put it a bracket occurrence -2 because probation is already at the third error, no? So we want to do 3 minus 1, 3 minus 2, which is 1, like that. Think about it. Let me know if it makes sense. All right, let's see the question. All right. Okay. Of course, you could have done it in different cells as well, but I'm trying to build a more tougher formula. So that's the reason we're doing it. But sure, you could have done it in 2 steps as well. Yeah, I mean, the difficult part here is that $sign, but I hope you see what it means. It means that we want to know in the 3 cells. So from the first till the third one, how many times is and true come, which is only one time, right? That is the reason B11 has $, because it is fixed. In every cell, B11 will remain B11, which is the first one. But then B21 is dynamic, which essentially means that I always start with the first name, but I can move down as much as I want, like this. Right? That is what it signifies. And let me tell you, a lot of people in the corporate still have trouble working with dollar signs. I mean, there is usually a trial and error approach mentality, which is a very bad thing in my opinion. I mean, you need to know exactly what you're doing and get it right the first time, because this trial and error will lead to problems every now and then. So it's always better to know, do the trial and error when you're learning, not when you're actually working, right? So you should be able to get it right the very first time. Just turn on the air conditions, very hot. Right? So the takeaway from this example is one if-else, which is if only gives you two results, correct? If-else gives you multiple results. That's the advantage of using if-else. And of course, we have done count if-else, right? We have learned how to use a mixed referencing where one part has a dollar, the other part does not have a dollar. And we've also done let, which we already did before, but you see how we have done it. Okay, I'll wait for a minute and then we'll continue. All good, everyone? Perfect. Let's close this and let's look at a different problem. I'm trying to show you something different. So let me just allow me to figure out which one it should be. Yeah, let's do something different. Let's come to the customer cohort, everyone. All right. Let me also talk about what is the cohort analysis, right? I'm sorry, I'm just confirming. All of you are first years or is it a mixed group? Can somebody just confirm? I think most of you are first years, right? First years, okay. So I'm assuming you guys haven't done the cohort analysis, right? Okay. So even if you have, let me just talk about it for a little bit. It's a very common, very important metric where you want to measure customers over time. So what it says is that there is a cohort, like you guys are the cohort of 2024, right? The batch of 2024. Cohort makes sense when there are repeat customers. You know, a person is viewing an app multiple times, or I'm purchasing from Big Bazaar or more multiple times. Now, a company like Hyundai will not really look at a cohort analysis because you're not making repeat frequent purchases, correct? But if you look at consumer packaged goods, cohort is very important. Right? And of course, for application, product management, super important. Okay. Now, usually a cohort analysis looks like this. So what it says is that Jan 25th, that means the people who registered on the app on Jan 25th, of course, I would expect that the retention rate will go down over time, correct? Because as days go by, from the 1098 users, the number of users will keep on decreasing over time, correct? So this means that from Jan 25th, after day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do you see how the retention keeps on going down? If I look at February 3, this is my, or February 1st, right? February 1st is just 3 days back. So my retention is 24, 16, 50. So basically, a lot of analysis is possible. One is that I can look at day number 2. So I can say that on the second day of a customer, what is the retention rate? So you notice that it ranges from 23 to 18 to 19 to 80. So when I launched the app, my retention rates were much better on day number 2. And obviously, I expect that they will go down over time. So you notice that after day 1, my retention on an average is only 27, then 19.2, 15%. Now, this is something that we can do on every tool. We can do it on, let's say, Python as well, right? But the idea is the same. We know what we are trying to do. We are trying to create a cohort analysis. Let's see how we do it in Excel. Okay, let's watch. This also you can do on Excel desktop. You don't need Excel online for this, okay? All right, now I know there is a customer who has purchased multiple times from me. The data is 50,000 records, right? Let's verify one of these manually. So I'll go to data and filter. And if I look at the first customer, 807352, you notice that 807352 was purchased from me 5 times in the last 4 years. But when was the first purchase? Which year? It was 2011, right? That is what we need to find out. We basically want to know the acquisition year, the year in which we acquired the customer. How do we do this? Please watch. Very simple. I will just say equal to min, okay, if s. Same thing like a COUNTIF or a SUMIF, we are doing a minif. What is the minimum range? The minimum range will be the year of column B. And what is the criteria range? Okay, let me also think. Criteria range will be customer ID, and my criteria one will be all my customers, right? Like this. Okay, that is not working. Hold on a minute. So first, let me find the year from this. Okay, and then let me find the minimum if s. My minimum range is obviously this, and then we have criteria range as this, and my criteria as this. Okay, it's not working. I think I might have to do it on a single cell. This is one of those formulas where it might not work on the entire range, I believe. I might have to do it like this. So please don't mind. Let me just do it one more time. Criteria range is column A, and we are searching for A2. It's not good. Okay, let me do it in 2 steps. Never mind. Equal to minfs. My minimum range is ff. Let me try once again. AA, and we are searching for A2, and let me copy it down. I'm just double checking. Everything is good. How do I show you the formula? Let me just take a screenshot, everyone, and keep it here. Okay, let me not do it with a dynamic array. I think that might create some problem. So hold on. Let's not hurry. Let's do it properly. So let me reopen it. I don't want to wait for several minutes. Okay, let me reopen this file. Customer cohort. I don't want this. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's not do this dynamic array. I think it's creating some problem. Let's do it normally, right? We'll just say equal to minimum, no, equal to year of this, right? And we'll double click here, and we'll also double click here. Perfect. Yeah, sorry about that, but let's, no feedback required. Let me just show you the formulas here. The first one is year, and the next one is min ifs, right? Like this. And there we go. Yeah, just start with this, everyone. So this is my acquisition. No, this is my year and this is my acquisition year. So you can clearly see that when I apply a filter, okay, please watch. So when I apply a filter, this is so interesting because if I select 7352, do you see what it does? 7352 has not just one, but numerous transactions in the last 4 years. I'm not sure why the manifest is creating a problem. Let me just see if there's a different way of doing this. Hold on. Maybe let's not select the entire column. Should we try that? Hold on. This is clearly giving me some issue. It's not even responding now. Okay. Third time lucky, everyone. Let's try. No, let's not do this. Let's do it as equal to year. And then we double click. Okay, so far so good. And then we are doing a manifest, but let me not do it with the entire column. Let's just try and do it only with the range, right? And let's see if that helps. Still a little slow. I'm not sure why. Hmm. Let me look at my solution, what I already have created, and maybe I've done something different, which I don't recall. Wait, this is clearly not working for us. Let me quickly hop over back to my solutions folder and see what I've done in the customer cohort. As far as I can remember, we did the same thing, but maybe I'm mistaken. The year of the manifest, that's what I did. Okay, in this, I calculate the year later. Why should that create a difference? Okay, let me just try once again. So equal to manifest, my minimum range is my order date, criteria range, and one more time, manifest. I want to find my minimum range, and criteria. Never mind. Let's just leave this example. I think I'm making some stupid mistake, but let's not spend too much time on it. You have the solution. You can go over it later. Let's look at something else. So let me see. 9 blocks I don't want to cover for you. Average revenue per user we can do, but let's search for something a little different. Hold on. Yeah, I think this one is good. Let's try this. This is dispatched orders, everyone. You can do this either online. In fact, you should do it online because the features for this one, the dispatched orders, will only be available on Excel online. I'm also going to do the same thing. Let me come to online and we'll upload our problem called dispatched orders. Right? It's a different problem. Let's have a look at this. Now, this is a problem that usually comes in supply chain, warehouse, and logistics. But there is a marketing sales angle to it as well. So what we are trying to do here is, the problem is that we are working with FedEx, and there is an order ID. So let us say this is the data that has come from Salesforce, and you want to get the status. So I'm the manager, and I just want to know that has FedEx dispatched my orders or not, right? Now, what ends up happening is FedEx gives me this result saying that Havish have dispatched these orders. Now, I want to get a status, right? I want to know, has this order been dispatched? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Like this. Now, let's see how we do it. Now, the first thing that you will notice is that I can't match this with this directly, because here you have two paths that are not there in the column F. So we have the CA-13 dash, which I don't need. What we need is just the last part. Okay. So what I'll do here is I will say, watch carefully. I will say, okay, let me ask any guesses. How do we get only this last part, everyone? Little complex, but think about it. I just want this 1521. I want this 138688 like this. How will we do that? Yeah, but here's the thing, right? If you say right, everybody, if I say right, the number of characters is not constant, right? See, if I say right, comma 4, it basically gives me the result. But then how do I do it for the next one? You get my point, right? Okay, so delimit. So Atul, delimit is a function called text before and text after, but that has not been released yet in Excel Online. So we can't, and I want to do it with the formula, right? So how do we do that? Shivang, trim will not work. Trim will only work when you have spaces in the data. Here we don't have spaces in the data. Okay, so Amarnath, you have said a right and a find, something like that. And Satyajit, you have said a hyphen. But the problem is that when I do a find, okay, watch carefully. When I do a find and I say I want to search for a hyphen, it will only search for the first hyphen, not for the second one. Watch carefully. It will say 3. Basically, it tells me that the hyphen is coming for the first time on the third position. It won't tell me where the second hyphen is coming. So what do we do? So you guys are thinking in the right direction, but I hope you see why it's not that simple, right? If we had the same number of digits, it would have been simple. But since the number of digits changes, this is not quite working for me. So what do we do? I'll give you a hint. Do you see there's something called a starting number? Now, if you're smart, you will realize that. Do you see this? Do you see that the hyphen, the first hyphen is always coming at the third position, correct? So I can always be smart and say that don't search for a hyphen starting from the leftmost character. Start searching for the hyphen from the third character. Does it make sense? If I search for a hyphen starting with the third character, that means I'm already sitting on the hyphen, and then I search, it gives me 3 again, and now it gives me 3, 3, 3 everywhere, right? But the moment I say 4, the fourth character, now something different is happening. It is giving me 668886. Right? Anyone? Do you see what these numbers are signifying? Look carefully. 6 means CA-13-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is finding the second hyphen for me. Here it says 8. So US-2012 hyphen. So it is telling me it is at the 8th position. Similarly, if I drag it all the way down, you notice there are only 2 combinations. We have a 6 or an 8. But this is what we want. We get to know that the second hyphen is at the 6th or the 8th position. Now what I can do is very smartly, we can say, let me find the length of V6 minus the position of the hyphen. So this will give me 465. What is this? This is the number of digits, which is the number. So now I can simply say that from the right of V6, we want these characters, and there we go. Now it gives me the result. Think about it. It's a little tricky. I'll just try to make it a little easier for everyone. See. So what I'm doing here is, how do I explain it? Let me just draw an arrow here, if you don't mind. Okay. So basically, we are starting here. If you notice, we just make my outline a little thicker. Okay. So we are starting at 1, right? So what happens is that the position of the second hyphen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 character, right? So this comes as 6th character. So this is what we are finding. We are finding the position of the 6th character. And I know that the total length of everything included together is 10 CA-13-1521. So 10 minus 6 will be 4. And that is what we're doing from the right side. We're getting the last 4 characters. These type of data cleaning requirements are very common, right? Again, when you work on Power BI or Tableau or Python, you will be doing this all the time, right? I'm just going to write down the steps if that's okay with everyone. See, step number 1, find the second hyphen. Okay. So what does it give me? It tells me it is the 6th character, right? Length is 10 characters. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. And right 4 characters are 1521. I hope this helps everybody. So Shivang and everybody else, I hope that makes sense. We first find the second hyphen, but the second hyphen, we are not starting from the left. We are starting from the 4th position. Right? That means we are not starting from C. We are starting from 1. So this way, it tells me it is the 8th character. It skips the first one. Does it make sense? We are still not there, by the way. We still have quite a lot left. But I hope this part is clear, right? You will have to practice it a few more times, obviously. It's a slightly complex problem, but very, very practical. I can't tell you the number of times I have to do this for clients. Now let's do a lookup, okay? So now I'm saying let's do a VLOOKUP. For those of you who have not worked on VLOOKUP earlier, I obviously can't explain it in a lot of detail. I have an entire course on VLOOKUP, which covers VLOOKUP in a lot of detail. But basically, VLOOKUP searches for a value. So what I'm saying is, if I search for 1521, okay, that means this entire number. If I search for this number in column F, does it exist or not? So I'm saying 1 and first. So 1521, does this number exist or not? Now, interestingly, you will get an NA. But why? The number is already there in column F. No, see 1521. Can somebody tell me why is it giving me an NA? Logically, it should work if I'm searching for a 1521. Let's see if you're able to figure it out. Why are we not able to find a 1521? The formula is correct. I can assure you of that. Exactly. So the thing is, it is not, no. It is the formula, but the formula was resulting in a 1521, right? The problem is that all of these are text values. How do I prove it to you? Look at this. If I find the sum, it will just give me a 0. These are not numbers, they are text values. Why? Because they were coming from the order ID, which is a text. So even though you took the last 4 digits, for example, if I tell you, can you give me your enrollment number? Your student enrollment number is actually not a number, it is a text value, isn't it? So I'll have to convert it into a number by writing value, right? So the moment I convert it into a value, right? Now see what happens, it works. It gives me the result. But here's the cool part. When I do this for all the others, do you see there are some NAs coming in? Can you tell me what does the NA signify here? Like if I do a NA here, what does it mean? When I'm searching for US 2012108966, what does it mean? They're not yet dispatched, right? So it means 108966 is not present in column F. That means it is not dispatched. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll just put a let to just make it a little easier for everyone, if that's okay. Okay, let's go step by step. First, we are finding the value of this, right? So I'm just saying this is my order ID, right? Which is this part. Now, what am I doing with my order ID? I want to look it up. So I'm saying exists or not. So I will do a Vlookup of my order ID in column F, in column number 1, because column F is only one column, and a false. False, for those of you who have not worked on it, basically means I'm doing an exact match. I'm exactly searching for the order ID, not something similar to 1521, right? And then I look at exists. So you get this result, right? So we are getting somewhere. But this is not what we want. I want to basically find out if this is an error or not. So I'll say if error, that means if there is an error in the exists, that basically tells me that it is not yet dispatched, right? So let me make this my result. If there is an error, it will say not dispatched. And if it is not an error, that means it has been dispatched. So I just say dispatched. And let me just make sure everything is done properly. Hold on. See these parentheses and all, there's no shortcut. You will have to do it yourself. But you should always have the confidence that, oh, something went wrong. That's okay. You have to first make sure that, 1 second. Let me just try once. Still not working. Hold on. The problem with the online version is that the parentheses are very difficult to catch hold of. And that's not really my fault because they're all black in color, so it's 10 times more complex to do it, but then can't really help it. No problem. It's going to be very difficult to do it this way. Hold on. I will take the liberty of doing it on my Excel file because online we're just going to go in circles. So if that's okay, here you see how much easier it is. Sure, it's giving me still an error, but at least the colors are there so I can figure out why that error is coming. Okay, so the value is here. I say exists, then I'm doing this. I'm saying if error and dispatch. Okay, it still gives me a second. I say Okay, that did not help. Hold on. So let's do it a slightly different way. So we have a result and we know that our exists is coming as the number, right? What should we be doing here? Why are we overcomplicating it? I'll just say that if there is an error, we just want to convert it into not dispatched, right? Correct. And that should give me this, all right. Okay, let's just leave it at this for now. So we just say our result is equal to, if there is an error, we just say this can be the homework for everyone. You can figure it out later, the last part of the problem, but let me just complete this at least. And this should be good enough for now. Let me copy it, bring it back here. And there we go. See, I know it's quite a mouthful. It's not even I had to struggle a little bit. But again, the point here is that you have to understand the workflow, right? Like, how do you approach the problem? That is the most important part. The formula, the syntax, that is not very important. Fine, you might not do it right the first time. Even I did not, and that's okay. You're not going to get extra marks for writing the formula correctly the first time. Your understanding is most clear. So if I have to explain it to you, how I will say is that from the order ID, we wanted the last, not just the 4 numbers, but we wanted the last part, which is the order number. How do we do that? We first find the position of the second hyphen by starting on the 4th character. So that skips the first hyphen, it goes to the second hyphen, which in the first case is 6. From the total length, if I subtract 6, it gives me 4. So I know that the number is only 4 characters. Then I convert that number into, which looks like a number, but is a text, into a number by using value. Once I get the value, I call it the order ID. Then I will use Vlookup to check, does this order ID 1521 exist in column F or not? Has it been dispatched or not? If it has been dispatched, I want to see that order ID. Otherwise, I want to see an error saying not dispatched, like this, right? I'm also curious how I did it in my solution. So if you allow me, I just want to come here and look at dispatch orders, everyone. Dispatch orders in my solutions. Must be something to do with if error only. Oh, yeah. This is a little more complex. So I've said, oh, if is error number, not dispatch, otherwise. That's what I did. I said if, oh, I used is error. My bad. Yeah. Got it. So it's a little better. So I'm basically just going to complete the formula, everyone. I'm saying if is error, then we are saying not dispatch. Otherwise, we are saying dispatched, right? And there we go. Okay. I know it's quite a lot, and that's okay. As long as you are able to understand what we have done, it will need practice and you will have to go back, do it step by step. The reason I'm doing it in a single formula is because you have to get out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. I'm not saying you will win any prizes by writing one single formula, but you have to put yourself in that zone where you say, no, let me challenge myself and try to build a single formula. Sure, if you're learning and if you feel it's too much, you can do it step by step as well. But I would really suggest, which is what I did as well. Nobody writes the formula in one book. We all do it step by step. But after writing the different parts of the formula, we combine everything into a single formula like this. Right? So what we have learned here is value, then some text functions, write, length, find. We've learned VLOOKUP, very important. And we've also learned is error, right? Which is an error handler. Cool. Any questions, anyone on this? It's again a very common business requirement. Think of the use cases. In HR, I want to know, have the people who have left the company been given a full and final? In marketing, you want to know, have I, so all the customers who I wanted to reach out to after 2 days, have I reached out to them or not? When you're creating a funnel, right? In finance, you want to make sure that have the vendor payments being sent on time or not? Is my data reconciling or not? So is my payout right, which I've made payments to, matching the number in the arrays, whatever it is, So the point is, for every function, the ability to match two lists is super important, which is what we are doing here. The problem here is not that you have to write a formula. The problem is that you have to match two lists. That is what we're doing right now. But because the two lists were not matching perfectly, see, if I already had 1521 in column B, a lot of this would have become easier, isn't it? But we don't have 1521. We have an entire order ID. That's why it became a little longer and a little more complex. Right. Let me also save it. Actually, I don't take it. Let me save it any which way. It doesn't matter. In case you guys want to have a look at it. Right. So we've done quite a lot today. Let's go back and see what all we have done. So let's go with problems. So I started with the top in customers, right? We tried the customer cohort, that did not work, but you can look at the solution that I already have. Then we, of course, did the incentive plan where we worked with if and or. We did the Uber driver warnings, which was a referencing problem where the dollar signs and the way we're using it was very interesting. And of course, now we have done our dispatch drivers, right? Which is on a Vlookup example. Any questions? Anyone? Right. So we'll be doing more of the same tomorrow. And tomorrow, remember, is only a 1 hour session because I have a meeting of, I have a, not a meeting, I have a training US timing post that. So that's why I'll have to make it a 1 hour session. But just look at the calendar. I know I'm taking a little long, just 1 more minute. So tomorrow is going to be 11:30 to 12:30. Then we have a 11:30 to 1:30. We have 11:30. I'm sorry, there was one day where we increased it, no? Yeah, 10:30 to 1.
Yes, sir. There's one day when it's 10:52.
On the 29th, right? So on the 29th and on the 30th, we are doing a 2.5 hour session. Correct. Yeah. Again, obviously, I would appreciate if all of you can join for the entire session. I see the dropout has been very little. Thank you for that. I hope you see that it's very important to be a part of the live session. The problem with watching a recording is that it's very boring. I know it's the same training, it's the same person, same instructor, same examples, but keeping yourself motivated to watch a 1 hour session is so much more difficult than being a part of a live session because this is a classroom session, right? So do make sure to attend the session, everyone. Of course, you'll have to go back and watch the video again and practice it. That goes without saying. We all have to do that. But yeah, I mean, even if you have to miss something, try to miss as little of it as possible. In any case, the recordings will be live each day after the session. So in the next 1 hour or so, I'll have the recording on Teachable. You will have the user details as well to access that. If at all you miss anything, make sure to catch up before you join me the next day. Right? Great. I'm done from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask anyone. If you encounter any problems when trying to execute, see, absolutely, Shivam. So the idea is that if you have any questions, every session we'll spend the first few minutes discussing it. If you have a personal question, which is a little out of, not syllabus, but out of range of what we're doing, you can always ask me on a one-on-one basis. You can just send me an email or something and I'll answer that, right? If it is related to what we have done, you can ask me in the class so that others also listen. If it's something out of that, you can ask me off the record, right? Great. All right, great, excellent. Thank you so much for joining me on day number 1. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow at 11:30.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.